We have a special guest with us tonight. Former Jacksonville Jaguar, longtime NFL vet, the observant lineman who has a YouTube channel himself, Uche Nwaneri. What's up, buddy? What's going on?
What's going on, man? I'm standing in the huddle and I'm looking over there and I'm like, I don't think we should call this play. I'm jogging up to the line. I get in my stance at left guard and I look up and there's Ray Lewis directly lined up over the top of me, 2 yards, 3 yards off the ball, looking directly in my eye. I pull up into the hole with my eyes closed. I was like, this is it. I felt like this. You know how when you like snap your neck, you feel like a little shot go down your arm sometimes? When this motherfucker hit me, that shit was what I felt all the way from my head to my literal toes. I thought I was paralyzed.
Uche, Super Bowl champion. You got Tampa. No, you got the Rams against the Browns.
I got Rams and the Browns.
I know. I still.
I'm gonna go with the Rams.
That never stopped.
Rams
Yeah.
for the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl champion Rams. What's the equivalent of an offense of a guard? Like when the linebacker sees the quarterback come out of that pocket trying to get a first down. Like when a guard, like when you pull or something and you see a D-back and you're just like, yes, it's time. Like, is that similar?
Yeah, you know what? I think for me as a guard, the moment when I start licking my chops is when you're backside of a screen, because the backside of the screen wraps around. I don't think that, I think that people were kind of rubbed the wrong way by him from the outset. I think there's a little bit of an air of arrogance about Urban Meyer that he has that kind of keeps him from understanding the dynamics of things that he doesn't truly understand. And he tries to, he works that CEO role to the fullest. Like, he doesn't know shit about what product we're making, but he's going to sell it to anybody who is listening. As soon as he hit him with that double move, that cat that blew his MCL. He just be making cats just fall over their own shit. So I'm going with the Jags.
What?
I think that
I love that
because
so much.
this is such a bad division as far as the competition for the Titans. I think the Titans are going to have a couple of letdowns against teams that are trying to find. The Jags have legitimate structure now.
Sorry about your Packers, brother. That's all I can say.
Yeah, listen, it's we got the Commanders, and then we have Sunday Night Football against the Bills in Buffalo.
Well, I mean, hopefully you won't lose like 30 like the Steelers did. So,
all right, well, that's the show. Thanks to everyone for coming out. Ooch, you got anything? We got the show tomorrow night.
We got the show tomorrow. Yep. 8
Tree,
o'clock.
got
Sports Ball tomorrow, and I'm shooting to do a Colts Vikings greatest game.
Justin Blaylock here, part of the observant lineman team, and Uche Nwaneri, former
coming to you from heaven.
Yeah. It's a rough couple days, fellas. It's okay. We're grown men. We're allowed to cry. It's
oh, don't worry. It'll get worse than this.
Some of that was really
there were so many hours and hours that I had of Uche just smiling and laughing and sharing stories, and I thought that we should get together and just remember Uche, and we're all in the shock of the moment. I think I'm still processing it. I think he's going to show up. I really honestly believe that Uche is about to pop in right now and be like, "What's up, fellas?" Sorry, I'm late.
I think he's still napping because he's done that a couple times.
Yeah,
we're sitting there like, where's Uche? What's happening?
I don't believe it. I don't want to believe it. I feel like I know that he's, hopefully he's in a happier place and he's here, or his presence is being felt through us. But I just want to remember Uche, my friend, my brother, and a part of the show.
I said I wasn't going to cry till the end. Sorry.
All time.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can be sad the whole time. I don't think he'd want us to be sad. I think he'd want us to
He's probably laughing at us
celebrate
right now.
him. Yeah, he's like, oh, y'all little bitches, y'all crying.
It's like, come on.
He'd be fighting through tears.
Oh, you're talking like Albert Hainsworth. That's what he'd
Yeah.
say. He'd tell the donut story
He'd
again.
be shitting on Taylor's one. All right, so we can start with that. We can start with, what was our favorite Uche story? For me, one of the funniest ones was when he said that he almost called James Harrison the N-word on the field. Like, he said that James Harrison, like, he came around the edge, and I can't do it justice, Uche, the way that you tell it, but he came around the edge, and Harrison had hit him when he was already turning back. So he was already off balance. And then Harrison hits him and knocks him down and was like, how that one of those plays is like one of those boom, like stand over him. And he said he got up and he was like, man, he said it took almost everything that it could to not call him that. And he just got up and then, like, he just walked back to the huddle like, you ain't get me. So that to me was my favorite Uche story of all time. I'm sure Justin and Tree, you've got plenty.
Oh, dude, I gotta go with the donut story, man. I gotta go with the donut story. I have to. I'm sorry. And then, like, the old lineman just using their penises and putting it in the donuts. And then they heard Jack Del Rio go off on like Mount Vesuvius. It's just like, I can't get it. I can't think of donuts the same anymore. I just can't.
Yeah. The fact that Uche was like, you don't want to eat those donuts, like that he would give like a couple people heads up, but not everybody.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if it's like a running back or skill player that's talking shit, like, hey, how about the donuts you want?
Yeah, go ahead. Also, we are raising money for charity tonight. I saw Tom Grossi drop $250. I saw Stormus Enormous hitting with a big donation. You can donate anonymously. It's for so if y'all remember, Uche did a stream with Zack Snyder, the director of Batman.
Yeah.
Freaking just.
Oh yeah, that was a big stream. He was proud of that.
Yeah, and they raised over $100,000 that night for the foundation for the prevention of suicide. I'm sorry, I'm messing it up. It's the what does it say?
I think the American Suicide Prevention Foundation.
Yes,
I think it is.
American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So, if y'all want, no obligation whatsoever. We're here to support. But I knew that was a charity, something that Uche felt strongly about, and we're trying to raise money for that. Now, Justin, I'm sure you have some IRL stories with Uche. You have some favorite moments with him that I would love to hear you share.
Well, of course. So this is going to surprise a lot of folks. We only met, year and a half, 2 years ago.
Surprising. I thought you guys knew each other longer, to be honest with you.
We're actually from the same area back in Texas, but, didn't know each other through recruiting and all that kind of shit. But somehow came together as 30-something-year-old men. And I remember a mutual friend introduced us, Mobi Okoye, if anyone is a Texans fan.
I've heard the name before.
We had been hanging out. I think I had a party at my house, like a buddy's bachelor party. I mean, how I'm having that at my house, we won't get into. But yeah, he's like, hey man, going up the street, hang out. I want you to meet a buddy of mine. I go in and it's Uche. Looking big as hell, sitting down. I'm like, God, this motherfucker.
right. I'm big. You're big.
Everyone always, got to size everyone up. Like, man, the big ass dude. I mean, we're just chopping it up, talking shit, having a good old time. And hey, man, I do this show. Just come on and be a guest. See if you like it. We'll have some fun. We'll have some laughs. And 2 years later, here we are. Just felt like that instant bond that I figured was only in fucking movies and romantic comedies or something, man.
Yeah, it's just
he just had that way about him. Just instant.
Hey, D-Day Cobra is here from Geeks and Gamers. Hey, how you doing?
Guys. Hey guys, thank you for inviting me. Obviously, I wish it was under better circumstances, but I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thanks for coming,
I got a combination of being sick and obviously sad, so I've had a cold for about 5 days now. So if I cough or anything, no disrespect, but thank you for having me.
Oh,
hey, no problem. Yeah, thank God in the virtual world we don't have to mask up because if you're here in real life, I'd be like,
I heard that.
You're gonna have to come back.
Yeah, I heard that. But
so glad that you could make it. I know that you streamed a lot with Uche, or you guys had a lot of interactions, and we were sharing our favorite stories about Uche. Justin talking about the time that he met him. If you have any favorite stories or memories that you want to share, like we would love to hear it. I'm finding more and more about, like, I thought I knew Uche, and I'm finding more about him that I just love even more.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the owner of Geeks and Gamers, and we have sports channels and gaming channels and all of that. And Uche reached out to me over 3 years ago. He contacted me, and I'm a lifelong sports fan, and so we talked a little bit. And when I learned that he was a former NFL football player, he expressed interest in wanting to become part of Geeks and Gamers because we have a wide range of people on the team, and he looked at what we were doing. And one thing I noticed about him is, he didn't just look at us and go, oh, this is an opportunity. He looked at deeper into what we were doing, and he liked what we were doing. And so upon that interest level, I live in Pensacola, Florida, and he was out of Atlanta. So we were talking online. I said, hey, I would love to drive up to Atlanta and just meet you and hang out. I was like, because I take this as a pretty serious opportunity, with your background, this could be really cool. And so we hung out at a mall in Georgia and immediately started arguing over everything.
That sounds like Uche.
Yes, yeah. Arguing over everything, and in a good way. And I think arguments are good. I think debate is good. And but it was a really kind of genuine back and forth. And we were even we were there till they closed the mall, and the cleaners had to run us out. So then we ended up at PF Chang's, which was right next door. And we continued our discussion, and it was just such a good opportunity meeting him. And so at that point in time, I was like, I love the dynamic because I know that Geeks and Gamers and Sports Wars, I know we're controversial in some circles, and him being a former athlete, he didn't have to connect with us. He didn't need us. But he wanted to be there. And he even told me, he said, I remember watching your videos, talking about me. He said, I was watching your videos, and he said, I knew I probably disagree with you politically, but you're the type of guy that it was like, you're okay with that. And I was like, 100%. Like I love disagreements as long as they're healthy disagreements. And so we brought him into the fold, and we did some work. He did some videos on the main channel. He did some Marvel stuff. We did some stuff. He did a Coach Uche kind of segment or two on Sports Wars that went really well. And yeah, and so it just became a good relationship from there. And obviously he's had a lot of different, things going on, and he got us hooked up with the Zack Snyder situation, which, we had a lot of controversy surrounding that situation, but bottom line is we raised over $100,000 for suicide prevention. And that was what the legacy of that thing was, not the miscommunications with Zach or anything like that. We raised $100,000 in just a few hours for suicide prevention. And that was what Uche had set us up with. And, he was a very aggressive, very passionate person. Me and him would argue on Twitter, and our fans would think we hated each other. I'm like, guys, we're literally DMing each other laughing because so many people are freaking out because it was just passion. It was just, that's what men do. Men argue, they have fun, and then when it's done, you shake hands and you go get a pizza or you go play a video game. And that's what Uche was. I think the thing that gets misrepresented is his social media presence when he just would argue and say outlandish things.
Yeah.
It's just who he was. And he took none of that seriously in terms of like an argument or debate. It wasn't that he took that personal. It was just what he did to kind of, I think he used that as a competitive outlet that he didn't have after the league. I think he saw that as kind of like a, just this kind of, it got his juices flowing, to kind of have the back and forth, to have people come and at him. I think that's what he found out of that. But I was just, it was awful getting the news, and nothing but prayers and thoughts to his family and everyone involved. And he spoke very highly of all of you guys as well. He's really excited when he got connected. And so, I'm just honored to be here with you guys.
Yeah, that was the one thing I loved about him, is that you could disagree and just know that it wasn't personal. Like, we are here to get our opinions out. We're here to, and if they differ, like some people you argue with and like you just want to punch them in the face, like because you just don't agree with them, and you're just like, what? I'm not going to change your opinion. You're not going to change mine. Let's just fight. But with Uche, it was like, all right, you bring your point to the table and I'll bring mine. And then we'll see. And then, like you said, just afterwards, we'll either agree to disagree or whatever. And he had some strong political opinions.
Oh, very strong.
Yeah.
And I mean, very.
I didn't always agree
I disagreed with a bit of him, but at the end of the day, I respected where he was coming from.
Absolutely.
I wish I could show you guys. I wish I could show you guys our Facebook Messenger where it was just like we would just argue to the point where I'm like, Uche, now you're just wasting my time. I need to get work done. And he just want to keep going and keep going and keep going. And that's just, but as soon, one thing about Uche, because again, he is a former NFL football player. He saw the highest of levels that most of us will see. Some of us, obviously, but most people will see that. So when I brought him into my world, we're just content creators, we're YouTubers, and it was a different world that kind of he was in. And there were times where Uche he was a very aggressive person, as we've all stated. But then if he ever kind of was with a group setting, because I have 40 or 50 people on my team. Not everybody on my team is built like me or built like you guys, like Uche, but Uche would kind of come in the group chat sometimes just like a freight train. And I would have to message him private. I'm like, hey, you talk to me like that, but you can't do that in the group. It's not the locker room of alpha males. And as soon as he would get like, I don't want to claim that I was coaching him or anything like that, but as soon as he saw like a stern leadership, he would like, hey, I respect it. I hear what you're saying, because I feel like he wanted that football structure. And I feel like that's what he was drawn to the Geeks Gamer side of things. It was a team, and not, again, as I said, he didn't need us, but I feel he found like a team element of sorts from that perspective. And yeah, man, I just, it sucks. It really does suck. 38 years old. And hopefully we can get his channel to 100K, and I'll do my small part to help. I know you guys, wanted to try to get that rolling, and I'll do any part I can to get that.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it. He's up to 40K. So
that's crazy, man.
Doubled his sub count. And we just think it would be such a nice send off and to share with his family, that YouTube was a really big part of who Uche was. And I was thinking about it today. It was like Uche did not have to take YouTube and being
yeah.
online and being socially active. Seriously, he's accomplished so much on the football field, financially. Like, it was just a challenge for him. He was like, I got to grow this YouTube channel. And the thing that I also loved about him, and it kind of made sense why he succeeded in the NFL, was he showed up. He showed up. And that's really, to me, like in terms of professionalism, in terms of guys that want it, show up. And he was here every week.
And he had that A-game spirit, man.
Not always on time.
Right. Everything's fine, man. He's got to get that bull in.
Right. But he was here, and he loved it. And, we would do this show, and he would show up for free. Like, there's no money in it. We didn't, he would put in 2 hours of time, 2 to 3 hours of his time, and not even ask or expect a dime, because he just loved it. And we did the same for him on his channel, and we loved it. I just loved being, 4 to 5 hours a week Tree and I were spending with Uche.
And the thing is, with Wednesday streams, it was always like just 4 dudes shooting the shit, talking sports. It felt so like chemistry-wise, it meshed well. Like it was like low-key, very comfortable. It just felt like I was like in like a nice wooden room, smoking a few cigars, and maybe a little scotch in there too.
Yep,
that's what it felt like.
Yeah, and he had this disarming way of like, you're hanging out with a former NFL player, but it doesn't seem that way. He's like your neighbor that you just, oh yeah, let me go sit on his couch and drink a couple beers and hang out with him. It's not like some people will let like they're just like, oh, I was this, I was that, and all they do is talk about their fucking selves, and you're just like, nah. And Uche wasn't like that at all. He was like, nah, I'll share something that happened to me or that I was involved with, but it was not about him. It was about, and he wanted to learn about us. So it's just such a big loss to the community, to the NFL. And hopefully the Jaguars go out and get it done this weekend, bring home that division title that he predicted. And
we thought he was crazy at the time. We thought he was crazy.
Yeah, we laughed at him. I was like,
really? Jags? Come on, man.
Jags for Jags.
Their plan, and he was about to enjoy a long stretch of what could be sustained Jaguar success, and he might have become insufferable. We might have had to listen to Uche. I don't think so, but he could have.
It was going to become Scooter Nwaneri, probably.
Yeah, he also loved the Jaguars. Like he was a fan of the team. He played for them, and he wanted them to succeed, to the point where he was contacting ex-players, anyone that was involved with the team, to help fix, what the problem was.
Well, two of the most exciting things he had, like when he started really getting some traction and the Jags fan base started recognizing that he was, obviously supportive of them, and they were responding to that and the Snyder Cut stuff. He gained a big following with the Snyder Cut, with the DC fandom, and he made some good friends on that. And I spoke to Tyrone Magnus yesterday, who obviously made a really nice video about Uche, and I reached out to Tyrone, expressed everything, all the good stuff Uche said about him and their friendship, and between the Jags and the DC fandom, he was really excited about both of those fronts and is very passionate about it. Can I show you guys a real quick clip of us with Uche on a video game real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is we host Mario Kart, and he played Mario Kart with us a lot. And so this was him winning on I'm sharing my screen now. This is him winning on his favorite map. So hosting it's going to show Ryan Kennel's perspective because he was the one hosting it, but it was me and Uche battling for the win, and I thought I had Uche, but I ended up not. But we start screaming at each other, and this is kind of mine and Uche's relationship.
Yeah, I think I saw this.
This is so good. Got you, Uche! Got you, Uche! Got you!
No, you did it, motherfucker!
No!
Did you win?
Goddamn right, I won.
Yeah!
Someone screenshot that shit.
Uche first and Darian second. Heck
Oh, he was so worked up in that moment, man. And his laugh his laugh was so good. It was infectious.
It
And
was.
we also had this meme that we created in our community, because I'll try to do it with be a sick, but he always screamed wow. He'd be like, wow, whenever something bad would happen to him in a game or something like that. And there was another clip back in the day playing Warzone, and I'm trying to find it now because I cried tears when it happened. This was like 2 years ago, but him and Ryan and a couple of the guys were playing Warzone. And I think Uche was driving. They were in a vehicle. Ryan was in the passenger seat. Uche was driving, and Uche was like driving, and all of a sudden he takes like this hard right turn, and all of a sudden he thought he saw a ramp, and he just drives straight into a wall because it looked like a ramp from a distance. And you saw Ryan just kind of go, and then Uche goes, yeah, my bad. I thought that was a ramp. And then Ryan just busts out laughing. And I was like, I had tears because it was like so awkward because like no one knew what he was doing. But then if you look back, it's like it did look like a ramp from a distance. He drove straight into it. I'm trying to find that one as well. We'll get that uploaded. But yeah, man, for all of his bombastic ways that I know that probably turned certain people off. Like, you have to understand, this is a fun-loving guy that just was looking to have fun. And his attitude was all meant to just be like, hey, I'm just talking shit and having fun, and I expect you to say it right back to me, and then we can be good. And I think that he had a lot of that, and his laugh, though, was the best part of it, man.
Yeah, just the willingness. Like, a lot of times people, like, there's some people that believe that if you don't share the same political opinions, you just can't be friends. Right. And the willingness to come on to your show or to work with you when y'all had basically polar opposite political belief, like
he faced a lot of questions about like hooking up with us. And he told me, he said, man, he's like, I'll never ask you to change nothing, but he's like, just let you know, like, I get a lot of people asking me like, hey man, these guys, because we're very we have our own bombastic views on things. And I was always thankful that he, put his name out there to be attached with us, and knowing that we are controversial in some circles. And at no point did he ever waver from that. He never, ever second guessed that. And that just speaks to him as who he was. Because for all of his opinions that people can be frustrated about or whatever, he stood by us. He stood by us. He rocked Geeks and Gamers in his bio. To the day he died, he rocked Geeks and Gamers in his bio. You know what I mean? That's who he was. He was connected to us, even though he was on the polar opposite of the majority of the people in our community. That's what he represents, what everybody should represent, which is differing opinions. And that's I appreciated that about him.
And standing up for what you believe. Like, I think at the end of the day, like, I know this is a little tangent. It's like in politics in America, like, hopefully when we're disagreeing about things, that we're just trying to make this country better, that we're trying to bring this, we may disagree on how that's done, but hopefully our hearts are all in the same place. And that to me was something I knew about Uche, was that he loved America. He wanted to make things better. And plus, the nerdy side of him, just how viciously he would attack anything, and how hard he, really supported, Zack Snyder and the Snyder Cut. Like, it was just refreshing that he would be involved that way. So it was.
Well, to that point, when he got the Snyder thing set up, he set that up, and he called me. He's like, hey, instead of me doing this on my channel, you want to get Geeks and Gamers involved. Like, he was thinking about, he didn't have to include Geeks and Gamers in that. That was him just wanting to look at the bigger picture type of thing. And ultimately we decided to put it on his channel. Still backfired on us with our name being involved. But the point was that his heart was in the right spot where he got that connection. He wasn't thinking about how it could benefit him. He was thinking about how can this benefit everybody else. And he didn't have to do that. He did not have to do that at all.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous that you guys got to meet him in person, because Justin, we were talking 2 weeks ago. I was like, hey, how far from Gwinnett are you guys? Like, I was really trying to set up, going to meet both you, Justin,
Mhm.
and Uche
Nah.
down in Atlanta.
I would have been
and then-
jealous too. Like I
Yeah.
know he wanted us to come to a Jacksonville game against Buffalo.
Yeah,
in
he invited
2021.
us
The
to
problem
the
is, like, I couldn't go because I was in my sister's wedding at the time. So
Yeah, he invited us down to the alumni. You know, like we're just two
we're randos,
fucking
like, we're just
yahoos.
dudes.
Like we don't.
Yeah.
There's no reason for him to invite us to the Jaguars alumni game, and he did because that's the kind of person he was. And
If he fucks with you, he fucks with you all the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, he got us into a Purdue game. He was so mad because Purdue lost and he wanted him to represent that night. But he got Geeks and Gamers Sports Force press passes for Purdue games a couple years ago. And I'll never forget it because goddamn, he's so loud and he's so bombastic. And he showed up and there was one security. Uche's just walking around like he owns the fucking joint, like he's walking in the locker rooms, and the security guy like walks up. So it's me, two of my guys, and Uche. Okay. And I'm kind of being like, I mean, I know Uche's like a Boilermaker, but like, how much pull does he really have? Because like he's walking everywhere, and I'm just like, I hope he'll end up in jail or some shit. And he's just walking everywhere. And some security guy comes up. He's like, hey, nobody back. He says, oh, motherfucker. Go look on the board. My name's on the board. He's just loud. And then one of the coaches, thank God, comes walking up. He's like, Ooch, what's up? And I was like, God damn, we didn't have any press credit. Like, we didn't have badges to get. But Uche walked, and then one of the coaches recognized him, and then everybody started recognizing him. I'm like, oh, thank God, we're not going to get arrested. Right. But like, he was just like screaming at the guy, motherfucker, my name's on the wall. I'm like, oh shit, Uche.
That's
so
the thing
funny.
when you see athletes return to college, like how godlike they are.
Yeah.
I'm sure, Justin, when you go back to Texas, right, you can just be like, hey, I'm Justin.
It's something that's first, for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like they're like, do you need tickets or whatever? Like,
Fucking place.
keep the same ticket lady for 80 years or whatnot, and so yeah, I'm sure you got to see firsthand just how big of a deal Uche was at.
Yeah, he was. He definitely was.
Joining us, jumping in. Spent many a time on this show with Uche. Got to share a lot of moments with him as well. Hopefully you're doing okay.
Yeah, I'm
EA,
doing a little better today.
Yeah.
It's never easy to find out these things, especially about someone who, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. He's my brother's age. My older brother, Casey. He's my brother's exact, he's 38. And to hear about someone passing away like that so suddenly, who's very close to my own age number bracket, it's never easy. And especially for all the good times we had with him, we bantered here on the dumpster fire for a long time. A lot of the weeks we've got to have discussions, and I've had my own opinions, and I've said my piece and things that I knew and would have to brand when I was speaking to him that I knew it would rub him the wrong way, that if I just said it out loud as a fan in his presence.
Oh, yeah.
Things like talking about the Bears tanking or, other teams tanking and how players feel about that. And we'd have discussions about that. Mm-hmm. And then naturally, I know that Dodger had facilitated with us to play a lot of video games and predominantly Among Us on stream.
Yes.
And that's certainly a lot of fun. And I gonna have to ask Dodger to hold on to them clips, and she still has them. I'm sure she does.
That's the other thing is like we play Among Us with just no fanfare, no celebrities, like and Uche's there. You know what I mean? Like he's
we just fire straight into it.
Yeah, on a Friday night at 8 p.m. when he could be doing way cooler, way more fun stuff.
He owned like a couple bars, I think he was saying. He could just go there.
His idea of fun was playing Among Us online with a bunch of other, geeks.
With a bunch of weirdos like us.
Him. Yeah, he was one of us. And I think that's what really, again, it hurts to lose because it's so hard to find your tribe in this world. And when you find one that is going to defend you to the end, like it really hurts to lose a brother like that. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that on this stream, but it's just
You go
it's
and
true.
keep saying it, man. And I got to be honest too that when you are just a regular person out here in the world, and you encounter somebody who's had a big shot of some kind, and and for you, Mr. Blaylock, I don't know what kind of encounters you get when you express yourself. You introduce yourself to people and you say, "Hi, I'm Justin Blaylock. I used to play in the NFL." How many people do average Joes run into on the street anymore who are, I was in the NBA, I was in the MLB. You just run into them on the street, and not only do they talk to you, but then they go through and have the time to, like we bring, as 5 Points said, bring them into our tribe and do the silly things that we do, and have the podcast and talk about football and play video games. You don't really see that a lot here, much anywhere.
Yeah.
And it was always a treat to have Uche along, because something would always come out of his mouth that would be something I'd never heard before.
Yeah. There'd always be a story that you're like, oh shit, that happened.
Like
Oh god, the donut story! I almost died.
dude.
I love the story of him where they were in London for the London game, and instead of just leaving, he decides to throw a massive fucking party. And then what was it? One of his teammates got into a fight with the bouncer.
I think so.
Vocal.
Yeah. And he wasn't afraid to name names either. Like, he would say who, if he remembered who it was, he would say who it was. And he said one teammate fought like 3 bouncers, and they had to basically pick him up off the street and like get him back to the hotel. And that's like, I think, what was it? They were playing the game, and the ref or something, like the back judge was like, Uche, you throwing a party tonight? And he's like, yeah, man. He told him, like, they're playing the game, like there's still time in the game, and people are asking him about the party. And I just thought that was great. And the other thing that I also really loved was how intelligently he broke down the game, and also let like guys that make it in the NFL, this is how smart they had to be. Because there's some, a lot of, I mean, you can say this, Justin, like guys that don't understand the game, that just have one thing, the speed or whatever, they get sussed out pretty quickly in the NFL. Guys that understand it from up here, like that's what Uche helped me understand, was like, look, if you don't have it between the ears, you're going to get crushed in the NFL. And
those guys typically get weeded out pretty early on. I mean, unless you're just like some otherworldly talent, but even those guys, eventually it has to click up here. Like I can run a fucking 4.2 and bench 500 pounds, but if I'm going the wrong way,
yeah, right.
And he had a really good way with, not only way with words, but like how to describe it so anyone could understand what was really going on. And some of the shit's like pretty complicated. Been doing it damn near all my life, and some people would argue I still don't know it. And he just made it where anyone walking down the street damn near, could go coach a little league team O-line.
He was eager to teach the game. He was eager to learn the game too. I think he went with Tutin Reyes, I believe, to Japan to teach like offensive line there. I remember him telling that story. I remember him like he was talking about going to like talking to Jacksonville and like coaching their line, or going to Purdue or something like that. He never do it because the pay wasn't right. But I mean, he was always eager to learn. He was always eager to teach. He was always like he was always eager to welcome you into his world. And I mean, that's the first thing I noticed when I started talking to him too. And when 5 started talking, and when you started talking, Justin, and D-Day and Ryan as well, like he was so eager to like show you his life, what he was. That's rare to find in a person.
Yeah, and specifically when it comes to like offensive line play, I think for all of us, as for us as fans, think pretty well known that offensive line play is very under-respected. When you look at like normie fans, they just think, oh, these guys just get out there and block. It's so complex and so complicated. You need to be so in sync with everybody there. And you're the ones that are setting the stage for what is about to happen in this play, whether it's a pass, whether it's a run. So Uche loved talking about that one because he always loved talking about anytime he got to take credit for something. He loved talking about that. He loved telling you what he got to do out there. So man, he's just going to be so missed. And, thank you guys for putting on the stream. Thank you for inviting me here. Hey, I know that Uche, he loved working with you guys, and he loved that you guys got to stream all the time. And man, this is just some brutal news to start out the new year. He'll be so missed.
Can I show you guys a clip from the Purdue game when Uche was mad?
Yeah, dude.
So this is
ironically, it was against TCU.
It was against TCU.
I'm gonna say this. I'm glad he did not see Purdue LSU yesterday. He
that was ugly.
Oh,
that was ugly. By the way, thank you
Purdue women's basketball.
Thank you, Third Degree Top Gun, for dropping $500.
Damn,
we're at $4,100 raise.
Nice. So I this is not planned. I'm in the car with him and he's just bitching. So I just turned my camera phone on to listen to this. And then I think once he realized I was recording, then he took it to another level. So the whole point was he wanted Purdue to win because he brought us out. And he's like, they embarrassed him because they lost. So here we go. This shit's so funny. This shit's so good.
I don't even want to start. It's like you motherfuckers don't deserve to go nowhere. Y'all can't even beat goddamn TCU. Why we gonna drive right now? Walk, motherfucker. Shit, y'all couldn't get no drive going in the football game. Goddamn cars over here like, go to hell, nigga. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere till you motherfuckers actually do something. Weak ass Purdue. Shit. I'm over here telling all my homies, man, we going up to West Lafayette. We don't gonna handle this shit. Motherfuckers gonna see Purdue gonna ball against TCU because we back. It's Boilermakers come on fucking country. We in West Lafayette. Walking around all smiling and grinning before the game. That's Uche. Yeah, it's gonna be good. See, they still love me. And then what the fuck happened? You know what I mean? Come out here getting fucking mollywopped. You know what I mean? People on the sideline, Uche. And then interception. Touchdown TCU. They over there fucking sea-walking in the end zone and shit. Like, motherfucker, sea-walking in the end zone. I mean, I'm going to get kicked out the game if he sea-walking in my end zone. I'm knock that motherfucker out.
This goes on for 8 minutes, so I'll share the link. I'll share the link in the chat.
I feel like that would be 8 minutes well spent.
Yeah, it's really good. I will share the link with you guys in the private chat, and you can drop it in the chat if you want.
Yeah, we'll take that and throw her over in the regular chat.
Oh man. So yeah, I was just dying laughing when he just would not stop, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna hit record. This is content right here.
Full power, boys.
I can see Uche getting like, you're not gonna drink that fucking tequila, bitch. Like I could see him being like that. And like you would just have to get shit faced with Uche, like
I just put her in the chat for
and he's the kind of dude who drink you under the table in 5 minutes too, and they call you a bitch for passing out, blacking out.
Ryan, what was that thing? And I don't know if you heard me talking about it. You and him were playing Warzone. There was something like a ramp. Who was driving? What was that? There was like
Uche was driving. I think he would. Me and Uche probably talk more shit when we were playing video games, whether on the same team or opposite teams than anyone else. I'm just always constantly screaming at each other. Whether we're playing a stupid game like Mario Kart, whether we're playing a Warzone, and because listen, Uche's the best. Whatever it is, first person shooter. I'm the best at that. I rock those. Mario Kart, I play with the best in the world, man.
He literally told us that.
He said, I've competed against the best in the world at Mario Kart. And we play our first match with him. And he's like, what is all this stuff? And we're like, what is that? We recognize he's installing the game for the first time. And he was so confident, He still had the bumpers on and everything. But we're playing Warzone, and he's sitting there like talking all this smack, saying something about what I had done earlier in the game. And
that's what it was. Yeah.
And I think it was him that drove it in the ramp, but he's just driving around and then boom, we just smack into a wall, and he's like,
And-
whoop. Thought that was a ramp. Oh man.
That's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Man.
But yeah, so I mean, it was a lot of good times, and like I said, Uche was just, in my opinion, I just think that the way he interacted on social media and all of that, it was just to get that fix, that competitive fix post career. I mean, Justin, you might can speak to that better than me, but like I think that's probably an element to it. He just liked competing and riling people up. That's what I got from it.
Really, a lot closer to my own attitude when it comes to those sorts of things.
We all have that attitude, dude.
To me, like, if you're gonna compete and play a game, like, I'm not a big talker, but you put the camera on and like you're expecting a show, I'm gonna give you a show. Right.
Yep.
And that's the way Uche was, like I just remember, I think some of my favorite conversations were the stuff that we never had on the air. That was just, behind the scenes when there's no show going on and you're just sharing things and you're talking about things. Like those are the moments that I'm really going to miss a lot. But I also miss his brutal honesty. Yeah. The chat saying the Warren Sapp story where, do you know this one, Justin? Or any of you guys? Yeah, well, he wanted to do something with Warren Sapp, and Warren Sapp kept ducking him. And then he was like, he had him all set up to come on Lineman Life. And then Warren Sapp was like, I don't fucking talk to old linemen. And he was like, man, fuck you. Fuck you. And then he hated it. Yeah. From now on, he literally went to the grave fucking hating Warren Sapp's fucking ass.
Oh, you want somebody he hated? Taylor Lewan. Here
it is.
He was not a fan.
He was going to shred him for every single version. How he kept getting injured, his technique, his footwork, how he'd always get blown off the ball by defensive linemen. You talk about Taylor Lewan. He was going on a 5 to 10 minute rant about how much Taylor Lewan sucked. And we're just sitting there in the background just laughing hysterically.
And it wasn't it wasn't because he just disliked Taylor Lewan and his attitude. Like he would break it down. He would just be like, he
hated his play, he hated his style. That's why.
Yeah, I bet you if you're good and he don't like you, he'd be like, man, you can ball, but you're a fucking bitch.
We love getting him going.
Yeah,
we love getting him going about Tom fucking Brady. That's who we love getting him going
Every
about.
time he would talk shit, I just remind him of the fucking playoffs of the Jags and the fucking Patriots. He would get so mad about.
I think he's still pissed about Miles Jack catching the ball. I think he still is. Well, Cam Robinson was another. I did mention that.
When we were at PF Kings for the first time we met, because I'm a Tebow guy, especially from college, and so I brought up. I was like, "What you think? What you think about Tim Tebow?" He goes, "Motherfucker, Google Tebow and Uche. Google." I'm like, "Oh fuck." And of course, Uche ran his mouth about Tim Tebow coming to Jacksonville and got the hate of the the Gainesville fans, and it became a big thing. And he never let go of that one. He's like, "Man, they coming at me. They coming at me. Bring them on." I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, that's a group that if you provoke the Tebow mob, like they will dig through they'll find your Facebook post from 2006 and be like, "This you," and you're like, "Damn, man."
Yeah, you're looking at one of them in the bottom right here.
Yeah,
not
holy
that bad.
crap.
I'm not that bad.
Cover, you're not one of the Jesus Bo stands, are you?
No. Hey, I'm an Alabama guy, okay? Tebow earned my respect through beating our ass, okay? It wasn't because he, had the John 3:16 on his eyes during the game.
That was
I hated his guts in college.
Everybody was lined up for that one.
I did not like his game. Like that was the thing that bothered me, but I love Tebow as a person. Like, and I'm not even Christian, and I respect that he stands up for his beliefs. Like, I think that's admirable. I admire people that double down on what they like. You might be wrong, or I might disagree.
If you're gonna die on that hill, you're gonna die on that hill.
Yeah, die on that hill.
Yeah, but don't come crying to me when you throw a football as well as I throw a football. Okay.
Right.
I look about the same left-handed as Tebow does.
Yeah, because if I'm throwing a football with a left hand, which is not my hand at all, That thing is gonna go.
I actually got to see him.
Here, but all the tangible
I actually
stuff
got to
was
see him in
lacking.
spring training, and Tebow is big. Like
Yeah, he's a big
apparently,
dude.
some people are like, he's not that big. I'm like, have you seen
No,
him
he's a
lately?
Yeah,
he's a
too,
big
too big for baseball.
Well,
Yeah.
he's built like a stump. The more he
Yeah.
lifted after he stopped being a quarterback, the more he kind of looks like a stump. Like who was that fullback from New England for a long time? Shit, couldn't tackle him. Anyway, he's built like a stump. You can't tackle a stump.
You thinking Mike Allstar?
No,
that
New
was
England. New
Tampa.
England. Shit.
Sam Gash?
I know me
No.
and Ryan have to bounce here in about 5
Hey,
minutes.
no problem, man.
But
definitely
I do,
appreciate you guys stopping by and
like I said, he done nothing but I heard nothing but great things about you guys, and it's an honor to be here with you guys, and we really do appreciate it. I know that it should have been under better circumstances, but all you can do is deal with the cards you were dealt. I mean, me and Ryan had a good friend that passed away a little over a year ago named John Bartolo suddenly, and John opened us up to many new friendships through his passing, and that was one of the legacies with John's passing is we got to meet some really good people through that. And so you try to find the best you can in a bad situation. So it's really cool just to be here with you guys, and I love what you guys are doing, and anything we can do to help support, you just let us know, and you've got our full support in every step of the way.
Absolutely
100%.
love having you guys. And again, anybody that's watching. And the Geeks and Gamers are trying to help get Uche to 100K subs so that we can get that plaque for him and his family. I think that's something that he would have probably been, because I asked Uche, I was like, what's harder, playing in the NFL or building an audience on YouTube? And he was like, oh my gosh, building an audience is way harder. Way harder. It's harder to find people to watch you than it is, to use your God-given talent to run somebody over. And it is really hard. So appreciate you guys coming by, and whatever we can do to help y'all out. Maybe we can work together in the future or something like that. That's what Uche would want is to bring people together.
yeah.
So
I can promise you, I mean, he definitely, that's definitely something that he wanted to build those kind of bridges between kind of, our style and other styles, because ultimately he was such a balance for us about, like I said, the opinions and stuff, because 90% of our audience disagree with him. But I like that, like, because that's what we have to establish that with our community, because I think other communities need that as well. Disagreements, differing opinions, accept them, respect them, and move on. And that goes both ways. Everybody, like, life is all about people that are not going to agree with you. That is just a fact of life. That's just how it is. And Uche,
see, I think that's bullshit. No.
Exactly. But yeah, for real, this
sound like so many times.
This has been great, and man, we're gonna miss the guy. He left a lasting legacy, and big shout out to the chat. You guys are being so incredibly generous as well, and it's just a great way to honor Uche. So thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, if we can stay longer, we would. We just have something we got scheduled, but anyway, thank you guys, and Fitzy, nice to meet you. Sorry, we're bouncing. So
that's usually the effect I have. As soon as when one Fitzy enters, that's how it goes. Just usually like when one Fitzy enters, three awesome dudes have to leave. So
hey, now we're trying to test it. Because we dealt with Uche, so we're good. We having his opinions.
guys, listen. Like, not to make everything about the Patriots, because that's what douchebags from Massachusetts do. But like, now I only have one Uche in my life, and he only has 2/3 as many sacks as Matthew Judon. So I'm fucking broken up right now, man. This sucks.
Well, it's a good thing you weren't here 5 minutes ago, Fitzy, because I was stumbling on the name of that New England fullback who was built like a stump, and the chat was gracious enough to help me. It's James Devlin.
James Devlin.
Devlin, yeah,
that's right.
We would have also accepted Jakob Johnson or Sam Gash.
I said Sam Gash. I said Sam Gash,
but it wasn't the guy I was thinking of, though. That's
also, I'm not sure exactly what your full name is. Hi, 2K7, but could you tell me what time Flight 117 lands at LaGuardia tonight?
Oh my gosh, that is great.
The
Hey,
vocal quality on your microphone is so
we,
awesome.
we got to bounce, guys. Thank you guys so
All
much.
right, yeah,
Oh,
love
don't
y'all.
go.
Thanks for coming
Chat,
by.
All right. Nice to
Chat,
see
you're
you
the real
guys.
MVP. So yeah, we'll see you guys again really soon. Rest in peace, Uche. All of your support. Just remember, it goes a long way. So subscribe to his channel, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye, everyone.
All right.
See you over.
Cheers, guys.
Fitzy, that's going to be Boston Regional. It's going to be wiring JetBlue 113 right into your living room, as a matter of fact. I'm just going to need you to put that airplane down right there, full speed, fast as you can do it.
If you work for Southwest, you wouldn't have anything to do. You just
It's just endless baggage. That's all.
Oh man, that joke JetBlue. Hey, here I'll be here all night. Thanks everybody.
Boo.
Fitzy, I was going through
boys.
all the previous streams. I put together a montage for Uche that you can rewatch if you go rewatch the stream when it's over tonight. You can go rewatch it. But you were on with Uche actually a lot, Fitzy.
I was. I think he was actually there
5-6 times. Like I was like, holy crap, Fitzy and Uche worked together a lot. And you know, you sent me a text last night, and I just thought it'd be really appropriate for you to come by and share some thoughts. And I know that you really adored Uche, and you hit it off really well right from the start. And that's what a lot of people are saying tonight is that when you first meet Uche, like you feel like you've known him forever. And I hope you echo that sentiment.
There are always people that you meet in this life, if you're lucky enough, that you can tell immediately are the type of people that have magnetic polarity about them, that are temperature changers. Like when they come into the room, everything feels a little bit different. It's like it's presidential energy, it's superstar energy, it's Big Poppy energy. At least those some of the ones I've had the good fortune of ever meeting or working with, even so briefly before. And the first time I was on, I was trying to describe to my wife earlier, like why I felt so sad last night, far beyond what had happened to Damar Hamlin. And when I saw that on Tree's profile, because your tweets pop up, the algorithm knows it's like, oh, Fitzy's feeling inappropriate right now. He's thinking about getting canceled. Boom, there's a urinating Tree tweet. I'm thinking about quote tweeting this one. And your thing came up and it said for Uche, and I mean, I already knew by the time I texted you, Adam. I was like, you got to be shitting me. There's no way. And then I just followed I googled Uche and just saw dead at 38, and I texted you and I was just like, man, I only had a chance to meet this guy 2D, even though he was such a 3D character. And we had just these limited engagements for 1 hour at a time, a few occasions on some of your live streams. But I'm a firm believer in the idea that it's never too early to say, like, man, I love that guy. Like I felt just like a pull and a warmth from and towards him. And he cracked me up, and like his big energy was just he had so much charisma. Also, he had so much knowledge and so much experience that he lent to every live stream that he was a part of with you guys. And the audience just absolutely loved him. And like, hell, he would have been just as good, with Jimmy Fallon as he would have been with Arsenio Hall, as he would have been on this live stream, as he would be with like Swagoo and Greenberg on, Wake Up It's Football or Good Morning It's Sports, whatever the fuck you call that show. And like by the time there was that one stream, and like for some reason something Star Wars came up, and we were going back and forth doing the Revenge of the Sith line, and Uche was just like, unlimited power. And I was like,
he loved that line. He loved that line.
My guy. Oh my God. I would have gone to the dark side and back for that motherfucker. I loved him.
I think the one thing I was surprised that he wasn't on doing more bigger stuff. Honestly, I'm surprised that he wasn't on the NFL Network. It was only a matter of time before they would have had him doing segments, or maybe they ran away from him because he was so opinionated and so raw and so genuine. but like I think he had started doing stuff with Amazon or something like that.
I think he said like CBS Sports, I think.
Yeah,
He mentioned,
CBS.
like,
Yeah,
with
he
the
was
line.
doing some online stuff. So success, I mean, on the big stage was something that was inevitable for Uche. That's I think we got robbed of that as well.
did.
You know,
he got to play his full career. He got to play his full, like his NFL career played out. And, you know, whatever anybody is able to find out about pre-existing conditions, the impact of the NFL, et cetera, like that's still not going to put him back here in the square. It's still not going to like figure anything else out. So you can chase those waterfalls or go down that rabbit hole if you want to, but rather just instead celebrate what was, and like you were just lovingly doing, like embrace what he could have been. Like imagine instead, I mean, geez, they got a 40-year-old lineman on the that Amazon. Talk about
Whitworth.
dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Whitworth is over there looking like the professor that wants to bang every intern. Yeah, next to like Ryan Fitzpatrick and
Carissa Thompson.
Yep, Carissa Thompson, whose clothes are itching to just fly off her body, and Richard Sherman, who looks like he wants to scream and throw vodka bottles at everyone's ring.com. Like imagine how good Uche would have been on a show like that. Like people would have found out, like you guys, like God bless you, man. Like you found, I don't know how you found him, but like you tapped into his best, like his second best, his next best that he was after his playing career. You guys tapped into it and like helped him, like help thousands more people share that before his time was up.
It was strange because like he actually came to like us to like join us. Cause I remember when like in late 2020, he randomly popped in on my Discord on my Discord server. And like they were growing him because they thought, okay, it's a fake. It's not like he mentioned he was a 7-year NFL pro, talk that stuff. And like he mentioned like he was a big fan of what I did. He wanted like PM info with what I did. Like, and that's why they got that rapport and trust. And after a while, he started contacting me. It didn't feel real because I'm like, wait a minute, why is the next NFL guy contacting me? Because I remember like a couple days beforehand, it's like, do you think any ex-pro athletes watch your stuff? And I'm like, dude, I'd be shocked if they did. Just shocked. And then this guy pops into the picture, and it's just like, it feels surreal because like that doesn't happen. You usually are like the quote unquote influencer usually seeks out the athlete and tries to kiss their ass. He was never like that. He was always like, I'm going to see you on your level. You are my equal. And we are just going to make shit rock. That is how he's always been. And I love
the other thing about Uche was he wasn't one of those dudes that like, when you grow up with your neighbor friend and then the party comes around, the big party Friday night, and he doesn't invite you because he's got his new friends. Like Uche brought us around. Like we did a stream with Takeo Spikes. I got to meet Maurice Jones-Drew. Like he was not afraid to bring us on and be like, yo, these are my friends. Like you should meet my other friends. Like he was that kind of guy that wanted to bring everyone together. And instead of being like, oh no, you can't come.
Sorry, I got my cool friends. Plus also it's really difficult to get you guys in frame because Takeo Spikes has like all this neck he has to deal with.
Oh my gosh.
He still looks like he could play for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Right.
I was really impressed with Takeo too. Like, I mean, he's not just, a big muscle guy. Like he really understands and was knowledgeable on just all facets of the NFL, like not just playing the game itself. So that's the other thing. And then like Maurice Jones-Drew, we did a stream with him and he was, obviously he works for the NFL Network and he does all that stuff, but he was just, as friendly and as gregarious as you would think he was, so it was great that Uche, didn't hide anything from us. Like if he had an opportunity, he wanted to share it with us. And I'm grateful for that.
What do you think it was that like, there are a number of people there. I mean, they're offensive linemen often make the best positional coaches, great head coaches, inspirational speakers. They're phenomenal analysts on the radio and on TV, but like he was able to sort of, I'm going to say transcend it, but like go like a level past just sort of like, here, I'm going to give you some good X's and O's with a slap of personality and like some in locker room honesty. Like there was like I said earlier, like charisma and warmth and depth to him that like you said, Adam, like maybe like that almost even like scared people off. I saw somebody someone in your comment section saying earlier, like, could you imagine if they were able to like tap into like McAfee and Uche in the same pregame show? Like literally College Game Day would have been like the dude from Big Trouble in Little China, like riding the lightning down into the room, like, oh, it's on right now.
That would have been
Especially
must-watch
if it was
TV.
in West Lafayette.
That
that is funny.
Or Morgantown.
I remember this. There was a super chat on that show, and someone asked Maurice Jones-Drew how hot Kay Adams was, and he was like, I can't talk about her. That's an HR violation.
I'll gladly talk about it. That's the most attractive person I've ever met in my entire
Really?
life.
You've met her?
Yes, I did a thing with
this
Kay.
tall?
She yes, and I know that I've got almost a foot on you. So yeah, she's that small.
Wow.
She's weak. She's weak. Yeah.
How tall are you?
6'2".
Oh, I'm 5'11".
Oh, no way.
5'10".
How about that? See that
No,
there's
Tree's
always
5'11". I'm like 5'10" and a half.
Wow.
I'm 5'11". I'm taller than you, buddy.
That's the thing. Like, I think that's the thing. Like, we meet in two dimensions like this. When you finally meet someone in real life, like you feel like you know them because, like obviously Fitzy, me and you hang out. Like it's gonna be like we've hung out for.
Oh yeah, and we'll meet. But, like I swear to God, I'll be walking down the beach and you'll be working on that boat on Zihuatanejo. We're gonna be just like smiling at each other, hugging, footloose and fancy free, man.
And then you two go skipping down the beach arm in arm while fancy music plays in the background.
Yeah, and
then we do a slow motion montage with our quads just bulging out the water.
There you go. Slow motion.
Quadzilla.
Oh yeah.
That's why I think it's so important to go out and meet people IRL because this is great. This is wonderful. I mean, it's the closest substitution that we have. But when you go out and meet people in real life, you're like, wow, that dude was way taller than I thought. That dude is likes to talk closer or something, or I can barely hear that motherfucker when he's talking. You know what I mean? Like most of the time, it's not any surprise whatsoever. But yeah, I think it's really valuable that we get out. And if I can spread one message to anybody in the chat or you guys, is like, go out and meet the people that you love. Go out and spend some time. Go, have a beer because it's that just makes it more real than this. Like, I'm not saying that this isn't great and that we can't develop strong, meaningful, bonded relationships. But yeah, go out, hug your friends, like meet them, fly, make that flight. Go. Life is short, man. Life is short. It sucks sometimes, but that's why we're gonna have to definitely take in a game at Fenway, Fitzy, because it's overdue. It's overdue.
Oh, it's long overdue.
I gotta go out and meet my friends.
You got to come up. You got to come on up, Tree. You got to come on up. I can get a 4-pack of tickets anytime. So long as
I'm ever in Boston, I'll hit you up.
You should. I mean, it's amazing. There's nothing like the walk up if you've never been, when you first walk. You're in the ballpark and you're like, wow, this place is tiny. Like I can see how this was built for the good old days when gentlemen were 5'7" and used to wear wool suits and bring their fine dames to the ballpark.
I've been to Fenway before. It has that old charm to it.
It does.
It has that old feel, and it's like you're transferred back to the 1920s.
Oh, 100%.
Put some coin in the Nickelodeon. Maybe we'll have us a good old jazz band time.
Exactly. Top of the fourth, brought to you by Lucky Strikes, America's favorite filter-free cigarette.
Also, my Burma shave.
Yeah,
and buy a war bond.
Exactly. Now, as we head to the fifth, before we update Sox and Yankees, let's check in on our boys as they battle the Jerrys overseas. It's great. Fenway's amazing. Back to the Kay Adams thing real quick, though. I did a thing with Kay just because I'm sure there's guys in the comments like, Fitzy, you have to deliver on the Kay Adams promise. Go on. So I worked with her 10 years ago for like a little cross-promotional thing because each of us was hosting something for CBS Sports at the time. I was doing the Tailgate show. She was doing some other traveling road sports show. We met in Chicago. Thought she was super nice and everything. A couple years later, I saw she was working in Boston with Tom Curran on a show called Quick Slants. Next thing I know, she's hosting Good Morning Football. I was like, holy shit, that's the girl Kay. I worked with her before. I'm in New York in 2019 for the Sam Darnold Seeing Ghosts game, that Monday night game. And there's this like lounge that a sponsor was kind enough to give us some tickets to called the Green Room at the Jet Stadium. Very nice. I was definitely like on my third like pulled pork slider and a fifth beer and whatever else. And all of a sudden I just hear across the room, "Hey, Nick," because she only knew me by my real name, not Fitzy. And I turned around and it was Kay Adams, and she remembered me. And she's like, "Wait, we had that bratwurst eating competition at Soldier Field that one time." I was like, "Of course I remember that." And she we talked for like 10 minutes. She gave me this big hug. And like, I was like, I have to take one. I was like, I grabbed one quick selfie. I have looked at it a few times since. She was the nicest thing in the world, but holy smokes. Whatever happened from 2012 to 2019, she went through the hot machine like over and over. And I mean, she's just, the personality is equal. It's like with Uche. It's like he was a badass on the field. He was a badass off. She's awesome on camera, and she's a sweetheart off. And holy smokes, just like
that's someone that's attractive when they're like strikingly attractive, like where you're just like, all right, I cannot, like you don't want to look at them because you're just like,
you're afraid.
I don't want to stare. And
I
I'm very aware that I am in the friend zone, and I don't want to make it awkward. So I will just look at and then share a story on a live stream.
Fitzy, the more you told that story, the more red your face got. I wonder if there's a correlation between the two.
Look, you just have to have you just have to have games like Shams Charina, and you're in. You know what I'm saying?
I know,
You just have to obsess about the NBA.
I have tried to break news at 2 a.m. just to see if she would just retweet me or invite me on Up and Adams. No dice yet.
Yeah. So,
yeah, because this will never get clipped and never get thrown at her on Twitter. You know that, right, Fitzy?
If it does, there's the worst things that'll happen.
You're not look, there's nothing wrong with saying that someone is attractive. Okay.
No, she's.
Don't worry, you ain't MJD. You ain't gonna get a PR violation or an HR violation. You're fine.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't. We don't work for the same network. I feel comfortable saying she is an awesome person and a very attractive lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you.
And also, I'm sure this will be what ends my career. So
yeah. I mean, dude, if we haven't gotten canceled yet,
like bad, and we're all fucked.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, if you're unemployed next year, Fitz, or later this year, but about the time I get up there to the Northeast in June, I'll call you and we'll go to Fenway together.
I can't wait.
Oh, I had a story to close the loop.
I'm in.
You distracted me with Kay Adams and her her incredible looks. I did go to Fenway once, and we got those seats in right field behind the pesky pole where you face the green. You face
the green monster. You are literally 90 degrees the wrong. Like you're literally looking at the wall, and you're like, "Well, the funny thing is, home plate is this way."
Right. And you're just like, I can't believe I paid a scalper like $80 for these tickets, because that's what we did. We just rolled up to Fenway, and this was 2010, before like SeatGeek and all those apps and stuff like that. So we just, we talked to a scalper, and he was like, "Yeah, I got you, man." And then we're sitting here facing the wrong way. And then I remember one time, and then during like the 5th inning, we went and walked behind. There's that pathway behind the plate where you can, if you walk back there, you can steal some close-up pitches.
That's selfie alley now, Adam. That's what they call that. Like,
and I was like, let's go see how the other half lives. And and then we did that, and then we went back to our seat. But the food was great. In Yawkey Way, loved the burgers there. As I was walking up, Peter Gammons walked right by me, and I didn't even notice that it was Peter Gammons, and I had no chance. He was gone, and like I was just seeing him awkwardly walk in his suit towards the press box. Like I was like, and the dude, the coworker I was with, is like, you just walked past Peter Gammons. I was like, shit, had the opportunity to be just like, hey, thank you, I like your coverage, but
yeah, he probably pocket tweeted in the time between you recognizing him and him making his way further down Yawkey Way, now known as Jersey Street, because it's been rebranded because of the unfortunate past of the Yawkey family.
Oh,
oops!
Right. The Yawkeys were some racists. Was that it?
Yeah, that's a safe assumption.
That's how you get canceled now.
That's how that works. Yep. I
didn't know it got rebranded for.
Yeah, no, it's
I-
one of those many things where it's just sort of like, well, because of the unfortunate past, it's been rebranded Jersey Street. We can't remember that.
Well, it's about reconciling it against today's values or the date in which humanity finds itself today. And some 50, 60
Totally.
years later from now, it could change again.
Oh, probably will change again. The
Yeah,
price
but
stuff will come out
that's
later
part
and-
of life is, picking up the pieces from the previous generation, doing with it what we can to make it a little bit better, and then pushing it forward to the next generation.
Yep, and all the money they spent on the street signs is why they let Xander Bogaerts go to San Diego, and they can't afford Raffy Devers.
It's so weird with the Red Sox why they're not reinvesting at all. Like if I were a Red Sox fan, number one, I'd be mad that they let Mookie Betts go. Like
Yeah.
what?
Oh,
Like you have to make that work. He's
the
a
worst
generational
ROI on
talent.
a trade ever. They got Colt. They got Connor Wong, Jeter Downs, and Verdugo.
I think.
And only Verdugo's with the team, and like it was the
Verdugo's
worst.
decent, but like to get to trade Mookie Betts for Alex Verdugo, it's not. That's not the same.
It's the problem. It's like they're trying to be Tampa Bay, and it doesn't make sense. Like they
And
don't
that doesn't
have
work
the
in
development or
Boston.
the system to do it. It just
Like, if
doesn't
you're-
make sense.
Yeah, if you're not gonna compete with the Yankees in terms of the checkbook, fucking sell the team. Fucking get rid of that team. Like I get that it's called Fenway Group Incorporated or whatever.
Fenway Sports Group, yeah.
Yeah, Fenway
Yeah.
Sports Group, and it's basically this multimedia conglomerate. But
Yeah.
fuck off with that shit.
I mean,
Like, you're the Red Sox. Compete.
They own
Problem
the
is
Boston Globe. They own Nesson. They own Liverpool, but they're up for sale. They own the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Red
Yep,
Sox.
they bought him. They bought him.
Yep. And so now people are thinking that they're divesting themselves of Liverpool because John Henry wants to get in the NFL. So there's talk that he might be in on buying the Washington Commando team. Yeah, because he might be
The
competing against
Washington
Bezos.
going Commandos.
Yeah, exactly. the going Commandos. But the crazy thing is, like, Robert Kraft will walk on air and water and golden rose petals ad infinitum forever and 3 days after that because of everything he put in place for the Patriots winning all their Super Bowls. But the Fenway Sports Group is responsible for, in large part, 4 World Series championships in the time it takes to raise somebody to, get a driver's license and go to college. And the old joke of like the Red Sox, they killed my father and now they're coming for me. Generations of people never saw a World Series. I've seen 4 this century, and yet they're the most hated ownership in Boston because of the way they've turned to profit and not to fan base and team.
See,
Even
I'm
though
surprised. I thought
Jacobs
Jeremy
is
Jacobs
ass
would be
clown.
the one. I thought Jacobs would be it.
Yeah. No,
Who was that other guy that tried to build in the new Fenway a while ago before?
Was that McCourt who ultimately bought the Dodgers? Yeah.
God.
That guy was a clown.
All right, we got Dodge and Kevin Von Michael Magnum to close out the show. Remembering Uche, I hope you guys are doing okay. Dodge and Kevin, you guys.
I had just
to interact.
I had
a lot
just
with
gotten
him.
home. I had just gotten home from running errands when I got the news, and it was a punch in the stomach, to be sure. I remember the very first time I interacted with Uche, and me and the rest of the Tree administration and the mods, we noticed that he had joined the server, and we're like, is that actually him? So I took it upon myself to be the one to investigate whether he was actually who he was. And he went through the steps, and yeah, he definitely was who he was. And I welcomed him to the server. I got him acquainted with how we did things, and he was just great to have around. He was an absolute hoot in the Among Us streams, which I do have that clip, but it's a little bit long.
There are many clips that involve
there are a
Uche.
lot of clips, dude.
That one year where he is screaming, "I'm gonna piss on your terrible town, you ass clown," and Uche just goes, "Run!"
Well, there's another one where Uche is standing around the lab, and I go, "Lyman, run! Lyman, run! Lyman, run!" And he's like, "Oh, that's me."
Oops. but he treated me as an equal. I have worked with voice actors, movie actors, athletes, internet stars. I have worked with so many people of many different levels of fame and notoriety. And when I had to interact with Uche, I was a little nervous, but he always treated me like an equal. He treated me like any other friend he had, and I'll never forget that about him. And that was what endeared him to me, was he treated me like anybody else. And at the time when I was in the convention business, that was very hard to find.
Yeah, I think that's so understated about people, is that there's a lot of people that can treat other people like shit and they can get away with it because they're who they are. And I'm sure Fitzy and Justin, you've all run into people like that where they just think that they're better than others. And that's fine, whatever, you can be that way. But clearly Uche's parents and his background and his coaches his whole life, he understood that how you treat other people really matters. And I just, he treated all of us in here fairly, and that's how you want to be treated.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter. Any of y'all in the chat, if he would have met y'all and y'all would have come up to him and be like, Uche, I watch you on the Lyman Life, or I watch you on the Dumpster Fire, he would have treated you just the same. And I know that. I'm not saying that. I know that. So
all of us were welcome in his Toke circle. All of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, with the fact that, and I was afraid of myself just because I was a Titans fan. I'm a fan of the division rival of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I was like, how is he going to treat me? How am I going to be just another jar of mayonnaise that needs to be thrown out, if you know that sort of thing? But no. It hurt my soul. Like, literally, like someone shot at my soul whenever I read that news that Uche had passed. And it was like, it just compounded. And when, what happened with DeMar Hamlin, it just compounded. That was probably the worst day, one of the worst days as in my life and as a football fan. That it was tough. I mean, I still remember like some of the stories that like he told all of us. Like, I think the one that always seemed to stick out in my mind just because of how ridiculous it sounded at first was, I think, when he was with I think it was Ahmad Bradshaw and Colin Kaepernick at a casino.
Yeah, he loved going to Vegas.
Yeah, he definitely liked his
and there was, I think, a Chinese millionaire there that lost all of his money.
Oh, you see that a lot now. You go to Vegas, you see a very rich billionaire yelling at a casino dealer for not dealing the cards correctly, and like I'm just like, oh boy, I'm gonna get up.
But no,
table.
Even though I'm a fan of a division rival, he treated me like with the respect and sincerity as he would a fan of the Jaguars. I mean, I know that the two teams are going to face for the division. I could care less at this point, considering what had gone on the past day. But yeah, I'm still trying to process this myself, honestly.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are still there. And like I said, sorry, hockey game. Like we said at the beginning, like I still expect him to show up. Like,
I'm still thinking he's just napping and he's going to come in and pop. Like, he's going to have a little toke before, turn off his mic, and then turn on and be like, "Hey, what I miss?" That's what I'm expecting. That's all I'm expecting.
It's what we're
like.
Used
to. It's starting the process now, but it's just it doesn't feel real. Like it doesn't.
No, it won't feel real until you get to something where you want or you need his opinion or you're desperate for his take. Like, let's say, I remember we did a couple months ago, we did the season preview predictions.
We did the prediction.
we're supposed to go over those in the offseason. We're supposed to go over those either, come Super Bowl time for the Super Bowl dumpster fire media row shit show.
Yeah.
And, he won't be there to either take a victory lap or to own his shitty predictions. And it's like, I'm sure for a million people in the chat, for a bunch of us, for the rip dude behind Dodger, weirdly in the background, just who might be like the boy in the curtains in 3 Men and a Baby or not.
He's real.
What's up, dude?
Yeah.
The circus strongman back there by the window. It's just sort of like you show up at like a holiday or something, and you always you tell your friends like, oh man, my cousin makes the best eggnog, or just like, I always look forward to seeing my uncle Roger because he brings he always slips me a 20 when I was a kid or whatever. All of a sudden you show up one time and you're like, hey, wait, where's Uncle Roger, or where's Crazy Kenny? It's like, oh, you didn't hear? Like, no. And it's just like like you said, KMVM, like it's just like it's a soul punch. Like you just get that quick rug pulled out from underneath you, and you'll regain your balance, but you're never gonna forget how much that hurt.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna live with that. I got no parents left. I lost my dad 9 months ago. Like
I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah,
it's probably, I'm an almost 50-year-old orphan. Everyone feels bad for the 50-year-old orphan.
It still sucks though.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. And you don't grieve on command, and you just deal with it every day. And thank God for stuff like sports, the ultimate emotional connective tissue. But that's why we have this shit to talk about, because it always bonds us. And he loved that.
Yeah, what really sucked was last night I was like, hey, let me watch some Monday Night Football to forget about the awful thing.
Didn't feel real again, and it just made it worse.
Then it just reminded, because I know that Uche would have some very
he'd have some strong opinions about what
there is an update, by the way. It came out 7:38. It says DeMar Hamlin's uncle, it says his nephew's on a ventilator, but he has improved to 50% oxygen after being at 100. So there is some progress, but still it's nowhere near close to being out of the woods.
Right.
Yeah,
it's going to take a good amount of time for
going to take at least a couple more
days.
Their
heart coming to a stop.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you guys came to share the memory of Uche. Ag, do you want to say anything back there?
Yep.
So,
hey, come here.
So y'all, I
do you own a shirt
pretty consistently for over half my life at this point. That's 14 years, and guys like Uche really, they're a great reminder that the amount of effort that you have to put in and day out, I mean, it puts guys like me to shame. I'm decent at an amateur level, and I played football in high school, but what guys like Uche are able to do, they dedicate their lives to their craft. They really are, in a sense, master craftsmen. And what I remember most about Uche taking away from it wasn't just the brute strength, because of course everyone sees that. You go to a combine and you see that, but the intensity at which you have to apply maximum strength, play after play after play after play. It's just something that's awe-inspiring. And I think that's probably the one thing I'll take away from him most. It's an inspiration in the sense that, maybe I can push myself a little harder for that extra rep. Maybe I can bust ass a little bit harder in the gym, eat a little bit better. I'll never make to that level. None of us will. But at the same time, you can still use that kind of work ethic as an inspiration for yourself.
Don't mean to interrupt you, dude. For the charity drive for the American Suicide Prevention Foundation, we just hit $5,000.
Let's go.
Holy shit.
I don't mean to disrupt you, dude, but it's just like it was
Let's
a
go.
big accomplishment.
That's more
I
important.
think that
That's
would
more
make
important.
Uche really happy. In his
Hell yeah.
lifetime, he helped raise $105,000 for suicide prevention. Anybody dealing with that?
Wow.
There's help out
Wow.
there. There's help, and that you don't have to go it alone. So, and because of guys like Uche and for causes that he cared about, hopefully, we can help prevent just one. That would be great. So,
right.
in closing, and I think we can all share any last words. Uche, I love you. I miss you already. I wish you were here. I wish we didn't have to do this. And rest easy, brother. I'll catch you on the flip side.
I haven't been taking this news well, but I do want to say, man.
Me either.
For like somebody of his reputation to take a chance on some random shit poster who doesn't have an athletic bone in his body, it's just it's something that's just like it's awe-inspiring. And I mean, it's somebody I considered a friend, and I wish I could have met him, but it's something that we'll probably meet each other in another life. Maybe we'll cross paths somewhere in the future, like in a different time sphere, But at the end of the day, man, I love you, man. I'm gonna miss you, dude. But take care, brother. I know you always after Wednesdays, you always would wax poetic about sports ball, and I hope I can make you proud there, man. That's all.
Thanks for being my friend, Uche.
Here.
Yes.
Thanks for being there with all of us. And for you, Uche, from myself, I just have one thing I'd like to say. And I certainly do hope they get the job done on Sunday this week. And that is Duval.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm actually now going to become an honorary emotional Jaguars fan. Fuck you, Uche. Look at you root for Jacksonville. Look at you making me root for Jack. God damn it, Trevor Lawrence is beautiful. But even more beautiful, the impact that guy had on that football team, with every person he met, with the people that he would stream with. And that is a testament to the color of his soul and the character that he was. And I know, just like he would tackle people on the field and tackled every job and every pleasant occasion with, he is going to get after the next phase with unlimited power.
Oh, dude, he's probably laughing at us for trying to mourn him right now. We know how he is. He has that loud, obnoxious laugh. He's probably putting on a fake Nigerian accent, imitating his parents. I know exactly how he is because that's what he do.
Remember his
really good fake Nigerian accent. He had a really good one.
Uche. Only the 1% make it. Only 1% going to the NFL. Uche.
You will beat the Cincinnati
Bengals. What are you doing crying for me?
Why do you play that football?
Look at that. Look at this lucky tech stream. Look at this lucky group of this island of misfit toys stream right here. Like everyone, like that's a life, even in a short span like that. That's a life well lived, man.
And he's only known us all for what? 2 years, maybe less?
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah,
Justin.
And this fool made me do the impossible. He made me buy a Jacksonville Jaguars jersey with no Lowry, I can't.
Yep, that's it.
Nice. Yeah. We already know what it is.
I'll do it for you. Samir, not going to work here much longer. Yeah.
So what would you say you do here?
All right, Justin, can you close us out with your with any final thoughts or words about it? And you knew him really well, so it's been a pleasure working with you as well on this show.
Likewise. You too, and nice meeting the rest of you. I met you before 50, and just gonna miss my brother, man. Just one of those guys, felt like that instant connection, like everybody talked about. The one thing I'll say, as hard as he worked on the field to perfect his craft, he put that into everything.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many times we talk after a show or just during the week, seeing a story and just trying to put the best product out there. And I tell you, he had big shit was on the way, man. He had great ideas. Just
didn't he say something about setting up an interview with Ice-T or something?
Yeah. He was gonna do he was gonna
a bunch of big interviews.
He was gonna have a bunch of other celebrities. So
much shit lined up, and just someone that went after what he wanted and was always willing to learn. Had no problem reaching out. You said, just looked you up out of the blue. No problem reaching out, talking to anybody. I think that's the overarching theme is he treats everybody the way he would talk to me. I mean, it sounds like, everybody could sit down, have a beer with the guy, chop it up, and, walk away much better than you were before you met the guy.
It allows you to see the game in such a different way. Like even knowing him, like I noticed things that I don't know now, especially O-line tech, a lot of stuff like that. Different like locker room relations and sympathy for players too, because I knew what he went through as a post-alumni player, dealing with that struggle, dealing with life after football and trying to find that identity. And like it really helped open my eyes in a lot of ways. And his impact on my life, to be completely honest with you, it's going to be permanent. And I'm going to be quite frank. I mean, Five, you can probably agree. This show's not going to be the same without him.
No,
it's not.
It's not.
Not at all.
It's going to be just. It's going to take us a while to get back to normal. So
yeah,
let's have a moment of silence for our brother Uche. We love you, and we'll see you soon.